The internet is full of mysteries. Most of them are fake, some are exaggerated for attention, and some become popular because people want them to be real. But every once in a while, a story appears online that feels different, not because it's obviously true, but because there's just enough real information behind it to make people uncomfortable. Back in 2010, Reddit users discovered a strange website connected to a dead account. At first, nobody thought much of it. The site looked old, outdated, and mostly abandoned, but once users started digging through hidden pages inside the website, they found cryptic job postings, military terminology, encrypted files, and references that sounded disturbingly real. The deeper people investigated, the stranger the story became, and before long, thousands of users online were asking the same question: had Reddit accidentally uncovered a real covert mercenary network hiding in plain sight? Because honestly, the more you look into this mystery, the harder it becomes to completely dismiss. And this is the story of the Lake City Quiet Pills. The story begins with a Reddit user named Religion of Peace, and from the beginning, people described him as unusual. He claimed to be older than most Reddit users at the time, and he frequently talked about military topics, politics, weapons, internet culture, and survivalism. At first glance, he mostly came across as eccentric. The Reddit back then was already filled with strange personalities, conspiracy theorists, and people pretending to be experts online. But there was something about this account that stood out. The way he discussed military operations and tactical topics felt unusually specific, not like someone trying to sound knowledgeable, like somebody who had actual experience. Users also noticed that he rarely spoke dramatically. He didn't sound like somebody role-playing online. If anything, his tone was calm, almost casual, which made some of his posts even stranger. Over time, users discovered that he operated a website called LakeCityQuietPills.com. At the time, the website mostly functioned as an image hosting platform where users could upload and share pictures. Nothing about it immediately looked suspicious. The website itself looked outdated and fairly normal for the internet at the time, and if the story had ended there, nobody would remember it today. But then, Religion of Peace suddenly disappeared. Not long afterward, another Reddit account called 2-6 announced that he had died. The post immediately drew attention. People who had interacted with him began asking questions. Who was he really? What had happened to him? And why did another account seem to have access to information about his death? At first, users were mostly curious, but curiosity quickly turned into obsession once people started investigating the website connected to him. Because the deeper they looked into the LakeCityQuietPills.com, the stranger it became. At first glance, LakeCityQuietPills.com didn't seem important. It looked like thousands of other forgotten websites from the early internet. Simple design, basic hosting pages, random uploaded images, nothing immediately alarming. But internet users started digging through the site's hidden directories and archive pages, and almost immediately they found things that didn't make sense. Hidden inside the websites were cryptic messages and strange job postings. Some discussed overseas travel, others mentioned passports, maritime experience, mechanics, deliveries, and logistics. One posting referred needing English speaking personnel in Europe. Another appeared to describe transportation schedules. Individually, none of the messages proved anything, but together they created a genuinely unsettling picture. The wording used throughout the site sounded unusually professional, not corporate, not casual, operational, and that's what made the mystery feel so believable. Nothing about the post sounded like obvious internet creepypasta. The language felt authentic, cold, direct. Then users started focusing on the name itself: Lake City Quiet Pills. Even the title sounded ominous. Many users connected Lake City to the Lake City Army Ammunition Plant in Missouri, one of the largest ammunition manufacturing facilities in the United States. And the phrase quiet pills immediately triggered theories online. Some believed it referred to bullets. Others thought it was slang related to silencers or pills. Nobody knew for certain, but the ambiguity only made the mystery more disturbing. Because unlike most fictional horror stories online, this one felt grounded in reality. There were real websites, real domain registrations, real archive accounts, and real conversations. Every new discovery only seemed to deepen the mystery further. Soon, users became completely obsessed with uncovering the truth behind the site, and what started as a small Reddit investigation quickly spiraled into one of the internet's most famous rabbit holes. As the mystery spread across Reddit, internet users began investigating every possible detail they could find. People searched domain records, archived web pages, hidden folders, connected usernames, forum posts, image metadata, anything that could help explain what Lake City Quiet Pills actually was. And somehow, every new discovery only made the situation feel stranger. Users uncovered references to military forums and tactical communities connected to accounts associated with the websites. There were mentions of encrypted storage devices, private communications, international travel, operation terminology. At one point, users discovered another connected account called Angel 2 6, and this account only intensified the mystery. The post connected to it contained cryptic military style language and references that sounded far too specific to be random. People started creating entire timelines of this investigation. Users compared timestamps between posts. They traced connections between accounts. They searched archive versions of websites that had long since disappeared. And slowly, a theory started forming online. What if the site wasn't fictional at all? What if people had accidentally uncovered a real network connected to private military contractors or mercenary operations? At first, the theory sounded ridiculous, like another internet conspiracy spiraling out of control. But the deeper people investigated, the more believable some of the details appeared. The individuals behind the site seemed highly knowledgeable about military operations, web hosting, encryption, and international logistics. Nothing about the website felt amateur, and unlike obvious ARGs or internet horror stories, there was no clear ending, no reveal, no confirmation that it was fake. Everything had just stopped, which made it even more unsettling. But the investigation took an even darker turn when users noticed something chilling. Some of the timestamps and references found on the site appeared to line up with real world events, including a high profile assassination, and then that's why the mystery became something bigger than a strange internet story. In January 2010, Hamas official Mahmoud al Mahbou was assassinated in Dubai. The operation immediately became an international news. Reports suggested the assassination had been carried out by a highly coordinated team using fake passports, international travel routes, surveillance, and careful logistical planning. Security footage from airports and hotels showed multiple individuals moving throughout Dubai in what appeared to be an organized operation. And around the same time, users investigating Lake City Quiet Pills noticed similarities between the assassination and hidden posts found on the website. Some of the cryptic job postings discussed travel logistics and overseas movements. Others referenced contractor style work and operational language. Suddenly, one major theory exploded across the internet. What if the website was secretly coordinating covert jobs? Now, it's important to be clear that there has never been any proof connecting Lake City Quad Pills to assassinations or mercenary activity. No investigation ever confirmed the theory, and no authorities connected the website to criminal operations, but what made the mystery so effective was the fact that it never became completely explainable either. Some people believe the site was simply an elaborate inside job between military veterans and internet users. Others think it may have been an early ARG or role playing experiment that accidentally became too convincing. And some people remain convinced that the site was connected to something real, because honestly, certain parts of the mystery are difficult to fully explain away. The professionalism, the operational language, the hidden pages, the military references, the archive evidence, the entire thing felt unusually authentic. Even years later, people still debate what Lake City Quiet Pills actually was, which is probably why the mystery never truly disappeared. The internet moves fast, most stories disappear within days, websites vanish, accounts get deleted, people forget. But some mysteries refuse to die, and Lake City Quiet Pills became one of those stories, not because anyone proved it was real, but because nobody could fully prove it was fake either. That uncertainty is what kept people interested. And the story exists in this uncomfortable space between conspiracy theory and reality. And maybe that's what makes it so effective. Because unlike fictional horror stories, this mystery left behind actual evidence, real archive websites, real Reddit accounts, real conversations. It felt less like a creepypasta and more like internet users accidentally catching a glimpse of something hidden behind the surface of the web. And whether the truth was innocent or something darker entirely, nobody really knows, even today. To this day, nobody fully understands what Lake City Quiet Pills really was: an internet hoax, a role playing experiment, a military inside joke, or something far more unsettling hidden in plain sight. And maybe that uncertainty is exactly why the mystery still fascinates people years later, and because every once in a while, the internet produces a story that feels just believable enough to stay with you long after you've closed the page. If you really enjoyed this video, subscribe for more internet mysteries, strange history, and disturbing rabbit holes. And if you have your own theories about Lake City Quiet Pills, leave them in the comments below.